I've officially made it halfway around the world, and it took nearly 600 days to go from Cape Town to Singapore using only public transportation. I've learned more than a few things along the way, and here are just a few of my favorite lessons. When chasing my dream, I had to take the first step without knowing whether or not it would be supported. And since then, I've had to take about 500 more steps just like that. But when you're constantly facing your fears and staring down your insecurities, your courage has no choice but to expand. I've learned that it's not enough to just visualize my dream, and that the only way to truly manifest it is to put in the long, hard hours that all dreams require. I've learned that if you want to do something special, like really special with your life, that sometimes you got to go against the tide, by yourself, and sometimes you might have to do that for a very, very long time. I've learned that doors open when you're optimistic, and that nothing is an accident. Not only am I responsible for all the good that comes into my life, but also all of the bad. I've learned that my intuition will never lead me astray, and that I need to trust it every time, because the more I do, the sharper it becomes. And not to be morbid, but one of the most important things I've done over the course of my journey is to think about what it would be like when my life ends. Not a single day goes by where I don't ask myself the question, if this was my last day on earth, is this the way I would really want to spend it? It was Mark Twain that said, "A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time." I've also learned to do what I can with what I have where I am. I use a secondhand camera, a secondhand lens, a broken tripod, and I edit everything using free software. But none of that matters. I've learned that while I don't think I'll fail, I'm more than willing to. If I fail at writing, filming, and photographing my way around the world, what could be better? Like really, what an amazing thing to be bad at. Jim Carrey once said, "You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love." I've also learned not to force the creative process, but also not to sit idly by and hope for lightning bolts of inspiration to strike out of the blue. That I have to do my part day after day after day, which means showing up ready to write, take pictures, and to film, even if the magic isn't always there. I've learned that anyone that tries to create anything feels the same gamut of emotions I do, and that at some point or another, anyone that's creating anything feels kind of dumb and kind of ridiculous and like their creation kind of sucks. But what I've come to realize is that if you just keep creating for the simple reason that it brings you joy, then the results suddenly don't matter. I sat on this script and this episode for over a month because I thought it was god awful, and then I remembered that I'm only doing this for me. I learned to never look at the big picture or the end product, that things like that can't matter. I never look more than one stop or step ahead, and I certainly never look backwards. And somewhere along the way, I realized that rational thinking will only ever get rational results. That thinking rationally limits me, and it's the thing that led me to my old corporate life where I settled for a decent job and a boring routine. And that if I want to create the life my imagination dreamt up on day one, then I have to get as far away from that kind of thinking as possible. I also learned a thing or two about patience, especially when it comes to turning my travels into money. I've learned, in spurts, mind you, to let go of the fear of going broke and spending my entire life savings, and to just trust that I'm aligned enough to where there will always be enough of what I need when I need it. I've learned that after 600 days of doing this, that I'm just barely now starting to scratch the surface of what's possible. And most importantly, I've learned that my worst day doing this is better than my best day doing anything else. And that if you don't give up, I mean really don't ever give up, or settle for something less than you deserve, then the world is yours, literally.